My name is Ishita. I'm from Wellcure. I will be hosting the session for today. And along with me in this meeting, I also have some of my wonderful colleagues and our CEO and founder, Sumeet Kapoor. And we're all here to support you. If you have any questions, you can use the chat box for the same. We'll try to answer as many as we can within the realm of time and also the scope of today's session. All right, so it's so wonderful to see you all gather here from different walks of life. You've all come here with different expectations, I'm sure, different concerns, different age groups. And yet, I think one thing that binds all of us today here so strongly is the urge to know how to stay healthy, and more importantly, to keep our family members, our friends healthy and fit. Uh, for all of us over the past year, life has transformed. It continues to be so even today. Each day our bodies are being put to a test, and how we perform really depends on how we have, what our food choices have been, what our lifestyle choices have been so far, and also the ones that we continue to make even today, right? And in times like these, when we are surrounded by so much of panic, so much of confusion, so much of information overload, what we truly need is an authentic voice that's first going to tell us to calm down, relax, take a few breaths, and then one by one, dispel all the myths, help us live right, eat right, in a way that is backed by science, in a way that is time tested. Someone who not just gives us knowledge, but also helps us to understand the ways in which we can implement all of those changes in our everyday living. Because I'm sure we've all heard this saying that, without knowledge, action is useless. And with knowledge, and you're performing no action, that's futile too. So at this point, I'm super happy, I'm super honored to introduce you all to the one and only, the one who holds and carries all this wisdom and shares it. She considers it her passion, her purpose in life, Dr. Gauri Rokkam. Through her holistic nutrition and healing course, she has truly simplified the meaning of health. She has extracted its essence through her years of research. She comes with a treasure vault of knowledge and experience. And what also sets her apart is how she blends the Western principles of modern nutrition along with the Eastern yogic philosophy, food, and naturopathy. So I'm really sure that all of us are really excited to hear from her. And so I'm not going to take up much time here. And I would like to invite you and introduce you all to Dr. Gauri. Dr. Gauri, a warm welcome and over to you. Thank you.
So much. Thanks, Ishita. I think you have summarized the whole thing. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, Dr. Gauri, you're audible.
Yes. Can I share the screen first?
Sure.
Yes. My respectful pranams to each one of you who has logged in today, and a warm welcome. On behalf of myself and Wellcure, I thank all those people who have enrolled into our course. I shall do my best to help you understand and maximize your learning. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sumeet, the founder of Wellcure, and his wonderful team who's been putting up my course almost every month or every other month. Thank you so much, Sumeet. I'm really grateful to you. Now, let me just take a couple of minutes here to share my story so that you can put a right perspective to what I'm saying throughout the course, and you can be more open to the ideas what I'm sharing here. Well, my father is a naturopath and yoga exponent, besides being a biochemistry professor. I think he had a blend of all these three beautiful subjects. And probably I just gotten into my blood, because as I grew up, I had no choice but to go along with my parents everywhere. Their talks, their workshops, their, conducting programs everywhere. And as I grew up, my interest in food and the impact food has, both in time of health and illness, was interesting to me. And I also felt there were many, many, you know, gaps. I couldn't understand many things, or I would feel I was not getting the rational or the logical answers for my questions. So I decided I'm going to learn about food myself and entered into this degree of food and nutrition. I went on to do masters in food and nutrition and stood first in the university. Believe me when I say this, that is when I truly realized that I was thoroughly confused. Why? Because my textbooks almost taught me contradicting ideas and concepts at different levels and intensities almost in every concept. At 21, I couldn't understand how two different philosophies or systems can have contradicting ideas about the same thing. And thankfully, there was no Google at that time. And so I had to literally go to experts to understand why and what of each of these. And here also I had a problem because each expert would say, I'm right, everybody else is wrong. And I was left to figure out who is right and who is wrong among them. This way, I have learned, I've studied, I've experimented, I've experienced, and in these 25 odd years, I've seen thousands of clients, and probably today I stand in front of you to share all that learnings and unlearnings. There's so much which we learn unnecessarily. I don't want anybody to put in the 25 years to learn something so simple and so beautiful, and which is absolutely essential for our life and health. So I have designed this course, which is around 20 hours, to give you all those experiences and learnings I've had in my life. And today it is even more important, as we all know that health has become the most important thing as we see the pandemic taking over. And all the statistics are very clearly showing us who are very healthy, nothing can touch them. Even if they have encountered it, it just passes off as a flu. But people who have comorbidities, people who are unhealthy, they're really, really getting hit, and it is becoming fatal also in many, many, many cases, very sadly. So something which we are responsible for, something which we can take over, I think we are losing lives all over the world. So it is very, very important for us to understand the basics and get there. Anyway, there are so many, many people who have helped me reach where I am. My teachers, my gurus, my mentors, my, colleagues, seniors, everybody, including my family, especially I have to mention my husband here, who has stood with me and taught me everything. And I'm very, very grateful to all of them in this journey of mine. So with this, let's take it ahead. Let me walk you through the highlights of the course. What are you going to learn basically in this course? Am I going to teach you something out of the world, something nobody knows, and something very special and specific? This is an emphatic no, absolutely nothing of that kind. Instead, I am going to focus on those basics from all the three philosophies. As Ishita rightly mentioned, I deal with basically, educationally, I'm a nutritionist. So I'm going to blend the modern medical nutrition with yogic philosophy of food and nature cure. Why these two philosophies? Because these two Indian philosophies talk about health. If you have noticed, many, many philosophies always talk about sickness, but our Indian philosophies talk about health. It's all about health. And so I've blended these three together. I'm going to take basic stuff from all these three philosophies and blend it together. And honestly, I have no degrees in naturopathy or yogic philosophy. I have learned through the gurus directly, the experts in these fields, and also I have done certification courses where I understand the basics, and that's more than enough for us to inculcate into our lifestyle. And I'm going to break down the complex subject of nutrition and make it very, very simple so that anybody from any walk of life can understand, digest, and assimilate this complex knowledge of nutrition. And the best part of this course will be through the course, I'm going to ensure that you adopt whatever is being taught in each session so that it is not about information here, and I'm sure we have enough. Information today is at our fingertips. We don't need anything more. The whole problem is none of us have been taught to adopt it into our lives. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this course. So this is a bird's eye view about the whole course, but you learn everything, all the
Dr.
basics
Gauri,
about.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, Ishita here. We have a few annotations on the screen, so could you stop sharing the screen and change the setting once before we go ahead?
Okay, you'll have to guide me over that.
Yeah, so you'll have to first stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see security down here, and you'll see
Then
an option
Yeah.
actually
of,
we share the screen again.
yeah.
Okay, I've gone to the security.
No, first share the screen again.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes, yes, yes.
right.
Yes. Then go to the security and untick that remove annotation option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I continue?
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah. You're all able to hear me properly?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let me go ahead. So this is what I'm going to do. It is all about food. When I say food, it includes every input into our bodies, especially the five natural elements and what comes from the earth into our plates. And I'm going to break down food here to make you understand what it means. But finally, the whole idea or the concept is to understand food as whole. It is not about breaking down food into its components. I know there are, even now I see, I'm surprised and shocked. They make something very healthy and share a dish, and the title will be a protein rich food or carbohydrate low dish, something like this. Why do we speak this language? Can we not understand food as food and consider this human body as a whole system? You cannot break down this body into its organ system. We have done enough of this damage, of this reductionist theories. It is very, very essential to look at the human body as one whole and the food as one whole complex chemical factory. And that's when we will be able to connect the dots and understand as whole as possible. Okay, and then we will learn all about each kind of food and each food group, and of course the link or the cause between what we are doing wrong and why we are getting into diseases. In this course, I'll be dealing generally and mostly with all lifestyle disorders, and of course touching upon a few other diseases and disorders also, and end with how do you deal with your mind, the food and the connection with the mind. And this is what you will get to learn in this course. Now let me get into the subject. Most people, when I say we have to eat right, ask me why eat right, especially the youngsters, this generation. Why? Because I have eaten wrong. I have abused my body, but I don't see anything wrong with my body. Nothing is happening. So they think it's all well. And why eat right if everything is well? Let me answer that with a small video clip. Well, I'm sure all of us, without any exception, want to live our lives like this gentleman. You know, want to be on our feet till the last breath, do everything possible, right? But we are not ready to do anything towards it and expect to be like that. How is it possible? Isn't it? We have to do something towards it. And that's exactly we are going to learn through this course. I found this in one of my colleagues' groups, and I thought it was a wonderful idea. I want to be young as long as possible. Isn't it? This is what the goal or the purpose of eating right, being healthy, being fit, everything. Now, having understood that, yes, to be healthy is very important, I want to add that the advancement in science and medical science, especially, and medical technology, our lives have become longer. You know, I see elderly gentlemen, elderly couple coming into my clinic. They have so many comorbidities. They are suffering with so many issues with their health, but they can't do anything about it because drugs and doctors are ensuring our lives are longer, but they are meaningless. I see them literally suffering and asking for death. They have tears in their eyes and they say, I just want to end this. And we have no way of ending it because drugs are going to keep us alive, but dying every moment. This is the saddest part. And I want everyone to understand this now. Let us not get there and then think I shouldn't have done. Let us, you know, take charge of our health and lives now. And it is not just that. Don't think I'm scaring you. It is very important to understand and be aware to make the right choices and make the right decisions in our lives. Today, it is even important because probably our generation is the last generation who will live with our parents and parents-in-laws. We can't expect the same with our children. I'm not blaming our children. Our children are, finding things away from home. So their lives are going to take them away. And in old age, there is nobody to take care of us, right? It is very, very important to take charge of our health and be healthier. Now, who's responsible for our health? I think we have depended enough on these two industries till now, and we have seen the result. We think somewhere someone is looking at what is right for us and allowing legally only those healthy foods into our markets or supermarkets. But sadly, it's not so. There was a huge study done on the supermarkets, and they said, we know sugar is unhealthy, so let's remove all those packets on the supermarket shelf which has sugar. And I'm sure you're not surprised when I say there were no packets left on the supermarket shelves. Isn't it so sad that every bloody packet, tin, and bottle in our supermarket shelves have sugar in some form, whether you understand the form, the name of the sugar or not, but they are present. And whether it is sweet, whether it is sour, whether it is spice, whether it is, salty foods, all of them have sugar in them. Why? One, sugar is a preservative. So it enhances the shelf life of their products. The second most important is they are not fools. They're sitting there to do the business, to make money out of me and you. So they hire food scientists paying millions of dollars to come to that concoction, exact taste, which will hook on, our taste buds hook on to that. And also it hits our mind space in such a way that I want more of it. I don't know, I don't watch TV regularly, but when I used to watch, there would be a beautiful advertisement where Saif Ali Khan would come with a packet of chips and say one is not enough. That is very true. Every packet and bottle is designed and created to give this experience for us so that we don't stop at one. We want more and more and more of it. They're designed that way. Okay, so it is very, very important to understand this and be aware that food industry is not interested in our health, right? So it is very important to get away from that. And the other industry is health industry. They're supposed to take care of our health, but today the society is so sick, they have no time to take care of our health, but to take care of our sickness. And not to blame anybody other than us and us alone. We are free to make our decisions. So finally, it boils down to us. Now that we understand that health is a very, very serious and important issue that we need to take care, let us look at how do I understand that I am healthy? What do we do? Generally, all we need to do is find the biggest lab around, go get every parameter done. What is that? Whole body check or all the blood work done. And I get a huge report, look at the numbers. If those numbers, my numbers match with those magical range of numbers, I'm happy. And I know I'm healthy. Is that so? I'm going to bring in a concept of nature cure here to help us understand when do we call ourselves healthy. So let me tell a little more about this. What do we know? How many parameters do we know as human beings? 100, 150, 200 parameters of our body. I go get all the parameters done, and if they all fall into place, am I healthy? What happens to all the other things going on in our body? Have you ever thought of it? There could be thousands of things happening in our body. We have still not figured out how to even measure them, isn't it? What happens to all those parameters? Who's taking care of those parameters? If I know how to measure these 100, 150 or 200 parameters and know how to supplement or drug myself and correct these numbers, what happens to all of those which I don't even know? Is my body intelligent enough and capable enough to correct them and bring it back to homeostasis? Why am I bothered about these few parameters? I want to leave you with that thought. Think about it. If at all we were able to decipher all those which are changing in our body, moment to moment, my body is increasing something, decreasing something, changing something, so that it brings the whole body into balance all the time, into its natural state. And if I know all those parameters, if I can check all those parameters, and if I can drug myself or supplement myself to bring them back to normal, I don't think we have any space here. We should be living in Nimans, isn't it? We'll all go crazy. Just think of it. So it is very, very important to stop looking at those parameters and understand our bodies much better. And also think of, I have many, many clients who come to me with huge amount of records and reports and tell me, I've got every parameter checked. Everything is in normal range. I've seen a couple of doctors, many more also sometimes. And everybody says, nothing is wrong with you, go. But I don't feel well. I feel something is wrong with me. Something somewhere, I don't know what, I have not been able to figure out, but something is absolutely wrong. I can't feel that wellness. What do you say about it? Isn't it? The parameters are not the ones we should be looking at. And let me now bring in the nature cure concept of how do we assess ourselves. When do we say I'm healthy? When do we say I'm unhealthy? This is the first parameter which Nature Cure talks about. I have to have a feeling of well-being. Nobody else outside me knows what I'm feeling. How can you tell me whether I'm healthy or not? Only I know how I feel inside my body, inside my mind, inside my emotions, my psyche, and the way I deal with myself. So if I feel well in all these aspects, then I know I'm healthy. Otherwise, absolutely, the absence of disease does not give me any license to say I'm healthy. So check this. I would, want all of you to pick up a pen and a paper and write down all these parameters which I'm speaking about and see at the end of it whether you're healthy or not healthy. Right? This is the first parameter. The second parameter Nature Cure talks about is timely and effortless elimination and excretion of the waste. How many of us are bothered about this? Nobody even knows, right? Whenever it happens, however it happens, that's the least bothered about stuff in our life, right? We have so many important things to do in the life. This is the least botheration. But this is the most important stuff, if you ask me, and that's what Nature Cure talks about. It even goes to the extent of saying, if there is no right elimination, you have no right to feed yourself. No next meal unless you have right elimination happening. So it is very, very important that we have a good, complete elimination first thing in the morning without any effort. I know how many of you want a cup of coffee, tea, newspapers, mobile phones. Nonsense, if you ask me. So it is very, very important naturally without anything, body not asking anything, elimination has to happen. When the wrong thing or the undigested stuff or the toxins are eliminated or excreted, only then do we have the right to feed ourselves. Isn't it so beautiful? Now tell me how many of you are healthy. Keen hunger is the next sign. How many of us even have experienced keen hunger? I can very confidently say some of us eat unhealthy, some of us eat healthy. But constant eating is happening for most of us, isn't it? We don't even know what is keen hunger. Nature Cure says, do not eat until you create keen hunger. It is not just about hunger, keen hunger. You should know, body should tell us. When will the body tell us that there is hunger developed? Only when the earlier meal is completely digested, absorbed, assimilated, will my hunger satiety hormones start initiating. And that is when my hunger is initiated. That is when the keen hunger develops, and I need to wait till the keen hunger to eat something. And sadly, today, all the well meaning people in our lives, the dietitians, the nutritionists, the doctors, advise us to eat once in 2 hours, 1.5 hours, depending on your condition, and God knows what they tell you. But this is the worst thing you can do for yourself. Already my body is taxed and I have many, many diseases and disorders, and I continue to eat again and again and again. My gut is completely in a mess. How can you become healthy? It's impossible, isn't it? So now ask yourself, have you ever created hunger before each meal? Are you eating with hunger or with the time or something else, right? So look at and ask yourself the right meaning questions. Deep sleep. Why? Today's generation thinks it's okay not even to sleep. It is important to make name, fame, and money. Who's going to bother about my sleep? Sadly, very soon you'll realize you've reached everything, but lost everything in the process of health and relationships. It is very, very important to get good, sound, deep sleep. Why? Because it is in this sleep our body releases repair, rejuvenation hormones on an everyday basis, morning till night. Whatever has gone wrong in our body takes this opportunity to correct itself, to repair itself during the sleep. If you miss sleep, and of course, I'm going to deal with this in great detail as we go ahead, but I'm just giving you a peek into it. It is very, very important that we get the right kind of sleep, right amount of sleep, and when you sleep becomes hugely important. And if you can't sleep well, how many of us can sleep well? The minute I put my head onto the pillow, I should be able to drift away into sleep and wake up on my own without anybody asking me to wake up. The sleep should be so beautiful and deep that I wake up on my own after I finish, all this repair and healing and rest completely, body, mind, and self. That is what is deep sleep. How many of us can claim I can sleep well? Only then we are healthy, otherwise we are not healthy. Look at these subtle, beautiful signs and symptoms of knowing whether I'm healthy or not. Nobody outside need tell us. We don't need any experts. We ourselves can declare whether I'm healthy, unhealthy. Cheerful mind. Well, all of us have aches and pains and sufferings throughout the day. My whole body is screaming and shouting and telling me I am present, right? When can we have this cheerful mind? My master so beautifully says, my body should not remind me of any parts existing. Only then I can have a cheerful mind. I have a head aching, I have a pain in the leg, somewhere in the back. How can I be cheerful in the mind? Isn't it? So, such kind of a body which does not trouble me in any way, no highs and lows of the mind, nothing. I have a balance with my society. I know what I speak, I think, and act. I have a balance in every sphere of my personality. Only then can I claim to have a cheerful mind, right? How many of us have a fit body? Sadly, today, the society and the market celebrates our unfit body. They feed us to become extra large and then celebrate our extra largeness with giving us extra large clothing, extra large furniture, extra large everything for that matter. And they're going to do it forever. It is for us to wake up and say, no, I need a fit body. It is the fit body which will allow us to remain healthy. No, kind of, absolutely lean, clean body is what we need. Absence of laziness. Have you ever thought that it was a sign of ill health? Right? All of us. Whenever I'm speaking all of this, it is most of the time. It is humanly impossible all the time to have all of this. Ultimately, we are all human, right? So, what I'm speaking is most of the time we should be able to have all of this. So, this is one of the signs of ill health when I keep saying tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. No, you should be able to do everything at the moment required. I should have that capacity, the energy, the will to do what I need to do at that point of time. And that is when I'm called healthy. Of course, graceful movements. People, if they sit, they need help to stand. If they stand, they need help to sit. What kind of a life we are all leading? Isn't it so important to correct our postures, our movements, and have a smooth movement without any kind of hindrances? That is when we are called healthy. And lastly, Nature Cure very clearly talks about the whole body has to be in a balanced or equally distributed heat. But of course, our feet should be warm and head should be cool. And my master even goes to the extent of saying, if we cannot maintain that heat in our feet, that means to say the vitality is so low that the end is coming. So this is how we look at different parameters of our body to measure our health. Now tell me how many of us can raise our hand without guilt and say, I'm healthy. And the whole of this course is designed to bring us all back to this state of health. This is our natural state of health. we have forgotten and we have gone far away from it, and we need to get back to this. And this sadly cannot be bought in the market. Nobody can buy this. Any amount of money you have, there are no shortcuts, there are no quick fixes, and you alone have to do and work towards it. I cannot walk for you, I cannot eat for you for you to become healthy. It is for you to make the right choices. And my master, Dr. Arun Sharma, says it beautifully. He says, if something goes wrong, if you're unhealthy, if you're ill, don't check your parameters, check your habits. Correct your habits, no. Correct your eating pattern, correct your lifestyle. If you correct your habits, you don't have to do anything. No need for these 3 Ds. Doctors, drugs, and dietitians just like me. You don't need any of us. Your body is capable of healing your and bringing you back into the homeostasis. My master, Dr. Arun Sharma, is the founder of Institute of Mahayoga and Natural Hygiene. He prefers to call nature cure as natural hygiene. In the next slide, you will be able to understand why natural hygiene, but he says we are not curing anything. We are not, kind of looking at disease at all. So it is about the hygiene of our body, which will decide our health. So he calls it natural hygiene. But because everybody understands the word nature cure, we are very, familiar with this word. So I might continue to use the word nature cure or replace it with natural hygiene as my master has proclaimed. And he belongs to a school called the Pudukkottai School of Natural Hygiene, which his grandfather is the founder, and he is considered as the father of nature cure in India. He's the one who started this movement in India. And Dr. Arun Sharma lives in US, but visits India and conducts workshops almost every year. Right now, he's in India, and you have to learn nature cure or natural hygiene from him. There's nothing than listening to him, understanding from him. If you are interested in deeper understanding of this subject, I invite all of you to, his workshops. It is simply amazing. And he talks through stories, and you can never forget that. Anyway, so this is what I wanted to tell you about my master, and I'm very, very grateful that I found him in my journey. So now that we understand that we need to be healthy and what are the parameters of health, let me bring in the concept of nature cure or natural hygiene again. How does it define health and disease? My master says, if you're living in a dirty body, it is ill health. There's no other way but create ill health or disease. But if you're living in a clean body, that's health. It is so simple and so beautifully put. So our whole effort is to make my body clean. Right now, I want to even bring in this idea for you because we are in a very, very bad state of affairs. When does bacteria or virus, for that matter, attack my body? When it has food inside my body. What is food for bacteria or virus? Filth inside my body. If I am filled with filth, I invite them. Do you know why unhealthy people are getting more sicker and sicker with this virus? People who are healthy, who have clean bodies. This virus, no other virus who it's going to come. Today it is corona, tomorrow it will be something else. So it is not about dealing with corona, it is to deal with your body. Keep your body clean and healthy. Nothing can, bring you to the life endangering situation. It comes and goes like any other flu. Of course, it has huge other symptoms also, but our bodies will be able to deal with this. Now, as I said in the beginning, my course is designed so that we can adopt. The very first thing, even before we talk about how to become healthy, is to clean our bodies, as you just now saw. So we have to allow proper elimination and excretion happening. So let me give you an exercise. Each one of you who have logged in, not for the people who have just taken our course, each one of you, I think I see almost 162 people, amazing people. Thank you so much for coming into our session. I'm really grateful for each of you so that we can, put in a seed of health into your minds. You take up whatever course you want, wherever you want, whoever you want. But if you can understand that health is in my hands today and start looking at how can I make myself healthy, that I think Sumit will have achieved his goals. I don't know why I wouldn't have personally allowed, because I want people, only serious people who want to understand health into my course. But Sumit says, let us offer this first session for everybody who's interested. And this is Sumit's gift, not mine. So if Sumit has achieved his goal of, sowing that seed of I want to become healthy into each one of you, the 162 people who have entered here, I think our purpose is attained. So all of you, please start inculcating this from tomorrow morning. So as you become vertical from the horizontal position, the first thing you need to do is not find your phones. Please understand. No, do not find your phones. Go straight into the toilet. Sit on the pot, not in a hurried way, because everything works with our nervous system. We have this pouch called rectum, where there is a sphincter above, there is a sphincter below. This sphincter above sphincter should be relaxed through the day, and this should be tight. And when we actually eliminate, this becomes loose and this becomes tight, right? Who is doing all of this? The muscles around the sphincters, who is giving them the signals of doing what they should be doing, when they should be doing, how they should be doing? Everything is controlled with our nervous system. And if I sit with the phone, or if I sit with a newspaper on my pot also, I can't explain anything more. I can't understand how people do this. Please don't do this for yourself. It is very, very important to be relaxed. Unless you're relaxed, this business is not going to happen. So just relax, give yourself some time. And people who don't have this habit, you cannot create it tomorrow morning. Give yourself some days or weeks till your body understands, yes, this is the time for elimination, and it will happen naturally. If at all you want, all you need to do is just breathe slowly and deeply. For this, you need to keep your toilets clean. Don't be in a rush. And if you want, clean your mouth, sip some water slowly. And after you drink a glass of water, massage your stomach very gently, clockwise, abdomen a few times. This might help you in elimination, right? So being relaxed, not rushing through it is the most important step. And sitting on the pot, if you have an Indian pot, is the most important, because I know most of us don't have them in our homes anymore. But if you still have, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. When we squat, right from small intestine, the duodenum, everything is fixed into that angle where elimination becomes very smooth and easy. So find a way to find the squatting. Well, I think people who know what it means are people who have complete elimination first thing in the morning. How fresh you feel, how light you feel, how nice you feel through the day cannot be explained in words. And I'm sure people who have that know what I mean, and adopt this first thing in the morning so that cleansing happens first. Everything what the body does not need, let it throw out. And it is not just with the stool. I'm not talking about just elimination. I'm talking about excretion also. Again, I will talk more about it in the coming days. But excretion is, every cell is trying to throw out toxin. What is not necessary? What is the metabolic waste? So from the cellular level, everywhere this excretion elimination has to happen. So these two are very important. And I want all of you to adopt it first thing in the morning, every single day, day after day, as long as I am alive. It is not for 2 days, 2 months, 2 years. It is forever, as long as I am alive. Now, having understood this is all about the introduction probably to the course, and now let's get into food. And as I say food, I've picked it up from Taittiriya Upanishad. Let me just fix this a bit, 1 second. Yeah. And Taittiriya Upanishad says, and when I say Upanishad, it has nothing to do with religion. It is a body of knowledge, and that's it. And this Upanishad has 3 chapters. In the second chapter, which is generally known as Anandavalli or Brahmanandavalli, in the first lesson or the first anuvak or the verse, it says, we have 5 natural elements. We are made up of 5 natural elements, which are called Panchabhutas: the space, the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. So if this human body is made up of 5 elements, to keep this body healthy also, we need all the 5 natural elements. And if something goes wrong with this body also, we need all these 5 natural elements to fix it. Say, for example, if this sari is made up of cotton, if this sari tears, I need cotton thread to fix it. I cannot use wood or iron to fix it, isn't it? It's as simple as that. If my body is made up of these elements, if something goes wrong, I need all these elements. In the first couple of sessions, I'm going to deal with each of these elements in a little deeper level, but it is almost impossible to look at all aspects of each of these elements because they are so huge that you can't even imagine. I have heard these lectures in my university, S. Vyasa Yoga University. They are amazing. Each one has so much, I mean, it's an ocean of knowledge. I'm going to touch upon each one of them very briefly, and I'm going to, talk about something connected with body, health, and food. That's all. I'm going to pick up a small concept from each of these elements. Let us start with space, and it is also called ether. Now, when I say space, I'm looking at creating space in my stomach. How do I create space in my stomach? The dreaded word fasting is going to create space in my stomach. Now, as soon as I say fasting, I think most people, especially the youngsters, are very scared of this word because nobody taught us, our parents, our teachers, nobody taught us about fasting. Nobody told us the importance of fasting. All we were taught and we learned was eating constantly. So we don't know what is fasting. Let me teach you very briefly what this actually means. So let us look at a common man. As soon as we wake up, we have to have, even before I open my eyes, coffees, teas. Even before it goes and settles down, a huge, rich breakfast, because that is what we have been taught. You have to have the richest breakfast. Yes, it should be rich in its quality, in the right sense, which you will learn through this course. What is the richness in quality, right? So I have my huge breakfast. And poor breakfast is finding its way inside, and I'm already bored, I am tired, and I think I'm hungry, and mid-morning, something to drink. And after that comes another huge meal called lunch. And because I've eaten so much, I feel lazy and lethargic. So I rest and I do some work, somehow figure out what to do because my body is knocked off because of this huge meal. And evening, something to drink and to eat. And before that settles down, another huge meal. And some people even have the habit of drinking a glass of milk before they go off to bed. Just imagine, my gut is filled with filth, if you ask me. Undigested, semi-digested, digested at different levels, completely digested. It is in a mess. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about what the gut is today. I'm going to talk about fasting. So the minute I say fasting, of course, the fasting word has different connotations for each of us. I don't mean to say anything. Fasting simply means not eating anything. Nothing goes through the mouth except water. That is fasting. Not eating 1 dozen bananas, 1 liter of milk, 1 kilo of poha. That is all our ways of fasting. That does not mean anything to fasting. Okay. So the right way of fasting, I'll explain. Don't worry at all. So when I say fasting, what happens? Just imagine yourself. Through the week, you are busy, you have work, you're throwing things here and there. At the weekend, what do? Oh, I have time, I have energy, let me clean up. Let me put things in its place, isn't it? Exactly that way our bodies behave. When I say fasting, when I don't eat anything, I give rest to my gut, the maximum amount of work through the day happens in my gut. So when my gut is resting, it doesn't have anything to do. My brain says, oh, wow, I have nothing to do. I have no job. I have a lot of time. I have a lot of energy. What shall I do? So it starts cleaning up. It starts taking up repair work. And that is why detoxification happens during fasting. Repair work happens during fasting. Healing happens during fasting. That is why fasting becomes very, very, very important. Among all the 5 elements, it is said that earth is the grossest. And as we go ahead, water becomes a little subtler. Then comes fire, more subtler is the wind, and the subtlest is the space. So fasting is the most subtlest, and the subtlest is the most prominent or vital also. And it has a huge impact on our body and health, because it is what is creating an atmosphere for repair and cleansing. Now, today, science is talking about it. We have a billion-dollar industry about fasting in the West. I had really no clue about fasting can become a market. What do you have to do in fasting? Yeah, if you ask Indians, we will say fasting over. That's all. There is nothing around fasting. But Westerners are so beautiful, so good at packaging things and marketing it and making money. There's a huge industry for fasting in the West. And why are they talking about fasting today? Because 2016, a cell biologist from Japan, Dr. Osumi, deciphered the mechanism behind fasting. What did he prove? He went on to the extent of proving that even damage at the DNA level in our body can be corrected, can be repaired during fasting. And that is how important fasting is. And did we understand it now? No. Our people have been shouting from thousands of years. They said Langhanam Paramaushadham. What is Langhanam? Fasting. Paramaushadham. There is no better treatment, there is no better drug, there is no better medicine than fasting is what was the, kind of common talk. It was not from some scriptures or some data or from research. Everybody knew this, and everybody followed it. Look at any religion in India. They might have different patterns. We have just found, I mean, today is the last day of Ramzan. They have a pattern of fasting. All of us have different patterns, but everybody in India fasted. And probably that was the secret of their health and being lean and being very fit. Of course, everything else, many things matter. The quality of food, the quality of air, water, and the amount of stresses we go through, all of that matters, definitely. But this was one of the secrets, very important in their lives to keep them healthy. Now that I have told you everything in simple terms, let me get into a textual work of fasting. First, very important thing you need to understand is fasting is not healing. Fasting is not repairing. Fasting is creating an environment inside our body to heal, repair, and clean. I hope everybody is clear with this. And fasting provides this rest so that, see, when we don't eat, we automatically stop ingestion of unsuitable foods also, unhealthy foods also, which itself promotes health. Stomach and intestines empty themselves of accumulated filth and unexcreted body wastes, and this itself can create health. All organs of elimination get an opportunity to intensify their work, and that's how cleansing happens full swing. What happened to another? Okay. It promotes internal metabolic activity, that is digestion, absorption, assimilation, everything in a better way. And so after fasting, the absorption of nutrients also become better. And this will allow our body or the chemical composition and everything to become normalized inside our body. And this allows also an opportunity to regenerate and rejuvenate cells. I'm sure you heard, all of you heard the first few, testimonials at the beginning. You must be thinking, what's wrong with these guys? In just 3 weeks, did they find so much? They're talking so much about this course. I'm sorry, that's the truth of it. Your body does not need another 20 years to realize that. You must have developed the diseases for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. But all body needs is 4, 5, 6 weeks to correct itself, rejuvenate itself, and get back to normal health. People who come to my clinic, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I give them a program and follow them. And in 5 weeks, they reverse, let me repeat, they reverse all their diseases, including diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, lipid profiles, everything, and they go back by decreasing their drugs, and most of them even remove their drugs. So that is the beauty of the body. It doesn't need too much of time. You allow everything to happen right inside the body, it repairs itself in just no time. Digestive organs are regenerated, and thus digestion and assimilation happens properly. Let me refix this 1 second. Yeah, fasting conserves vital nervous energy. This is the most important thing, and this is the concept of natural hygiene. And even yoga philosophy talks about it. It says we are all born with X amount of energy. I'm loosely translating it into English as energy. It is called the prana, it is called the vitality, which we will deal with as we go ahead. But this energy, which we conserve by fasting, is going to make our mental makeup sharper. You know, our brain tissues are cleansed of the accumulations. Today, even West is talking about the accumulations in our brain cells, which is leading to many, many degenerative disorders, like, you know, many of these Parkinson's disease, which we are commonly looking at, right? All these, if you don't want to reach that state, you better do something about your health, right? So it brings in clarity of thought. Right now I'm working with a youngster. I think he's in his 30s. One of the major complaint he had was brain fog. Yesterday evening I had my last session with him. He says, it's amazing, doctor, 2 weeks into your program, looks like everything is normal. I'm back into my normal self. I was never like this. I was so active, full of energy, full of life. And suddenly I've become like this. I don't know why. But in 2 weeks, looks like I'm getting back to my normalcy. I'm back with my energy. He says, it's amazing. Yes, it's just a couple of weeks and you get back to normalcy. And fasting improves function of every organ, tissue, and cell of the body. And that's why it becomes important. And all such physiological benefits is what the whole of the world knows. But Indians contributed in a different way. What's that? Of course, let me tell you the reference before I go ahead. I am not making up these sentences. I've picked it up from this particular textbook of Nature Cure, written by Kenneth Jeffrey. Who's this Kenneth Jeffrey? He was a very, very famous naturopath. He had liver cancer in his early 20s, and he was very sure he did not want doctors and drugs. And so he figured out for himself and he healed himself. In this journey, he wrote a lot of books, articles, and published them. And he helped thousands of people become healthy in natural ways during his lifetime. And in 20s, he was told another few years, you're going to live. He lived up to the ripe age of 90, and he died in the age of 90, living a complete healthy life. I have picked it up from one of his publications, which the title is How to Fast, Nature's Method for the Restoration of Health. And this is the Indian contribution. Let me explain. They never, went into starvation. Technically, starvation simply means after your accumulated fat is over, your glycogen is over and you start digging into fat stores. But theoretically, or I should simply put it as my understanding and my wanting you to understand is, we should not starve, we should fast. What's the difference between starving and fasting? Starving is when I am thinking about food all the time. Oh my God, I have not eaten. Oh my God, I have not eaten. When will I eat? What will I eat? If my thoughts are all around food, I'm suffering. That is starving. But what we are looking at is not starving. It is fasting. What is this fasting then? It has a beautiful name in Sanskrit. Upavasa. Upavasa. What is upavasa? What does that mean? Upa is near. Vasa is to live. What does that mean now? Living near what? This is what our people understood. All the time, our senses, all the five senses are going outwards. I want to see something more. I want to hear something. I want to touch something. I want to eat something. It's all about more and more of more outside. But during fasting, they figured out that our senses turn inwards. There is an inward journey happening to myself. You can call whatever name you want, Atma, self, God, nature, whatever you want. But the journey is happening inwards. I'm going to discover myself. And I hear miraculous stories from my clients. After practicing fasting for a few weeks and few months, they send me beautiful messages. Doctor, this is what is happening in my life. This is life transforming. What was so important for you before you started fasting becomes meaningless for many people. So after you start fasting in the right way, meaningfully, you will see there is an inner transformation happening. You will become a different person altogether. The importance to the right things will be fixed depending on your journey of life. So that is why this fasting was always associated with prayers in our country. Why? Because when you do with a prayer, your intentions are different. When your intentions are different, your doing it also becomes smooth and easy. I completely agree with you when you say fasting is difficult. But if you do with the right understanding, first is to understand. Now you understood how important it is. Once you understand, you have accepted. Once you accept it, you look at ways and means of doing it, isn't it? So it brings in, so to make it easy, they did prayers, they did vratas, they did different worship, kind of worship, so that it becomes easy. Your mind is occupied with that worship. Worship is one of the most beautiful things you can do for yourself if you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, you believe in yourself. That's good enough. But this is going to make it more subtler. The activity or the event of fasting itself will become more subtler. So it is not about starving. It is very important to fast, not starve. It has to become upavasa. As I said, I'm just reiterating, fasting is not curing. Fasting is creating an environment, giving rest to the gut. When the gut is rested, now cleaning and healing happens. Hope you've all understood this clearly. Now, let me go ahead with Dr. Osumi's work. What did Dr. Osumi do? Basically, let me explain in simple terms and then explain from his work. What he said was, or what he did was, he said he worked on something called autophagy. What is this autophagy? As the word describes, auto on its own, phagy, to kill itself, to digest itself, to eat itself. What does that mean? He said, when we go on fasting, that is water, just drinking water, when we go on fasting, it is like survival of the fittest, isn't it? There are so many things which have gone wrong inside our body. Many cells or tissues or organs, something is going wrong, but we have no clue about it, right? So when there is a damage at the DNA level, if one cell has a wrong DNA material, now it is going to multiply into two. Two is going to become four, four is going to become eight. And now there is no way of detecting there's something going wrong. Over years and years, when this becomes huge, then you will develop some physical symptoms. And then is when you're going to get some help from outside and figure out what is wrong inside. Already many years, 5, 10, 15 years have passed by the time you realize. But what happens during fasting? See, as I said, it is the survival of the fittest. When you stop eating, all those rogue cells, all those wrong cells, all those unhealthy cells cannot tolerate this onslaught. They have to be fed. If you eat more and more, they thrive and multiply and beautifully create tumors and cancers after a long time, which you will realize. But when you fast, these cells cannot take it. They kill themselves, they dissolve themselves, they digest themselves, and they're gone. This is what Dr. Osumi discovered or gave us. It was called autophagy. He said, during fasting, this is triggered off inside our body. Autophagy is triggered off, and all the wrong cells kill themselves. And thus, it ensures we get back to complete health. All the healthy cells, they can survive because they're very healthy, they're very strong. They can survive this fasting. Actually, they become more stronger, more healthier after a fast. So let us look at it. Let me read it from his work. I've picked it up from his published papers. Autophagy is a process by which cellular components are captured into organelles called autophagosomes. In my cell, these autophagosomes are there. So all these are collected and then brought to the lysosome or vacuole to be broken down and recycled. It doesn't even throw those damaged, unwanted cell. It breaks it down and uses those components for other purposes. It frequently comes into play during starvation. Here they're using a very wrong word. Probably it is their language because they know only starvation. They don't know our upavas, right? So allowing cells to survive periods of privation. He made key early discoveries in the field of autophagy. In his work, he has identified most of the proteins and pathways involved in this process, demonstrated how they're regulated by proteins. See, this autophagy, something has to trigger it off, right? So he found out the pathways and the proteins which trigger this off. That sense cells metabolic states. When it knows the cell is useless, it is wrong, it has wrong DNA material, then it senses it and creates this destruction of the cell, and started to outline the fine mechanism details of autophagosomes formation in the yeast. He demonstrated it in a yeast cell. That is why he got a Nobel Prize, not any other prizes. He got a Nobel Prize for physiology or medicine. And I'm just looking at a couple of papers so that you understand the depth of it. This is a paper published from the University of California in the Center of Integrative Medicine. What do they state? This is a statement, final statement made. Fasting is one of the oldest therapies in medicine. They say this is not something new. Many renowned physicians throughout history and many of the oldest healing systems have recommended fasting as an integral method of healing and prevention of diseases. Even the father of medicine, Hippocrates, believed that fasting enabled the body to heal itself. There are different ways of fasting. Of course, I'm not getting into it. I'll teach you what to do the simplest way. And if you follow that, that's more than enough. Don't break your heads over different ways and ways and means of doing it. And a very similar paper from the same probably university. I'm just giving you the summary of it. This paper declares the researchers found evidence that fasting affects circadian clocks in the liver and the skeletal muscle, causing them to rewire their metabolism, which can ultimately lead to improved health and protection against aging associated diseases. The study was published in the Cell. So this was published in 2019. And this is a beautiful piece which I picked up from another publication. Just look at what triggers off in our metabolic and chemical pathways inside our body. This paper was not even on fasting. It is about metabolic adaptation in lowering of the calories. That's all. Low calorie intake, so many changes happen in the metabolic level, in the cellular level, in the molecular level of our body. All the growth hormones and the, the inflammatory hormones are all dwindled down, and it creates harmony and health and balance inside our body. It's so beautiful to know so many things happen inside our body. And if you look at nature, I'm sure all of you who have pets will agree with me. Of course, if you have not spoiled your pets into your ways of eating and living, you will see the minute they fall sick, all they do is stop eating. Have you seen? They stop eating and rest. You will get scared to the level of, are they breathing? So that kind of, simply they are knocked off. They rest completely. And when they feel a little chill in their body, they walk towards the sun, lie down there and get enough sun. And when they feel, they'll sip some water. So they just do these 4 activities: fasting, resting completely, sun, and water. With these 4 things, just 1 or 2 days, they're back to their normal self, energy. They're full of life back, right? Allow them to at least heal themselves. And this is exactly what we need to do also. We have simply forgotten all of these. And this is the prescription for COVID patients. And I'm just summing it up. Don't please take it into your hands. Get some proper advice and hand holding. All we need to do is these 4 to get back to normalcy, right? And we are indicated. It is not that our body does not know. When you fall sick, what does your body tell you? You have a huge white coating on your tongue. Nothing tastes. You don't have an appetite. Your body is telling, I'm healing, I'm repairing. I want that energy and time to clean and repair. So stop eating. What do? We add more masalas, more oil. Idli is not enough. We want something more special because idlis are not good enough for our body, our taste, our tongues that day, right? Isn't it? So we make more masala, more unhealthy, and start filling ourselves. All the body is asking is, stop eating. Let me clean myself. Let me heal myself. That's the wisest thing we can do. And I'm not telling you this out of my experience. I have taken it from this particular publication, which is from, again, a naturopath. It is Dr. Gala. He has many publications, beautiful books, and I have taken it from there. And a couple of studies which show that fasting, this is intermittent fasting, not even fasting, will help in many lifestyle disorders. I'm just going to read through it. It is for your understanding, and I want to hit your head that yes, it is so important. Let me read it. Now, intermittent fasting offers a number of potential health benefits. This paper was published in 2019, and it's a review paper. And I have picked up one paper as sample papers for different diseases and disorders. This is on obesity. Oh my God, one second. Yeah. According to this particular review published in Current Obesity Reports, nearly all studies done, when I say a review, what is a review paper? It picks up many recent good publications, that is papers, and does research on all these research papers and put them, the results together. That's a review paper. Okay. So it says all the studies done on intermittent fasting have found it's beneficial for some degree of fat loss, ranging from 2.5 to 9.9% of fat loss. Some research suggests this is because intermittent fasting may improve the balance of some fat burning hormones inside the body, boosting metabolism to promote weight loss. However, other studies conclude that the fat loss associated with the intermittent fasting is explained by the calorie restriction also. Then the next paper is on diabetes, published in 2017. It found that patients with type 2 diabetes who practice intermittent fasting experienced improvements in their body weight, in glucose fasting, fasting glucose, and postprandial, that is the glucose, blood glucose after a meal. In all the three, they found it more beneficial. And any diabetic, type 2 diabetes who walks into my clinic, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they walk out completely normal. No more diabetes, no more drugs, no more insulin. They all kind of, reverse their diabetes and walk out in 5 weeks. Another study, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, published when 2005. This is about the lipid profile. It concluded that intermittent fasting may lower bad cholesterol. This bad, good, and all, I don't agree with all of these, but let us look at it as we go to the facts. But it lowers the bad LDL cholesterol. I'm just reading the paper. Blood triglycerides, inflammatory markers, blood sugar, insulin resistance. So all risk factors developing heart disease and of course diabetes also. This is another paper which is talking about practicing intermittent fasting may also help you sleep better by having a positive effect on your body's natural circadian rhythm. And during the periods of fasting, your body undergoes repair and rejuvenation that are linked to a longer lifespan. When I talk about fasting, first time with my clients, they say, Madam, maybe we cannot sleep. When I'm hungry, how can I sleep? It is exactly opposite. I tell them, you just do it and then tell me the experience. Then they come back and say, how can it happen? I slept so well, more better than the normal days. So that is what the impact it has on our body and minds. And the next thing is the digestive system may also benefit from getting periodic breaks. There is a huge break. When have we given the gut a break? Isn't it? It is so important. Of course, people argue that it is made for digestion, so it has to keep digesting. I don't agree with that. Anyway, all of us need a break. Can you work 24/7 all the time, all the while? No, we need breaks, right? Similarly, all our organ systems need a sensitive way of using them. You can't abuse them and expect them to work to their highest potential, right? So those studies suggest that it might improve gut health and even longevity. Other studies have demonstrated that intermittent fasting can help by changing the gut microbiota in positive ways. I will deal with this particular subject in great length because today we understand microbiota to a large extent, and microbiota has a huge influence on preventing diseases or causing diseases. So it is very important to understand this concept, and I'm going to deal with it in great detail. It is just a mention here from this publication. Now, you have understood what is fasting, why you have to fast, what are the benefits of fasting in different areas and our personalities. Now, let me tell you how to fast. If you want to make a note of it, all the other people who are who have logged in, you can make a note of it so that you don't do a mistake. Okay, others, of course, I'm there to guide throughout this next 3 weeks. When they go wrong or when they're doing it with my guidance. I have no problem, and I'm not afraid that they're going to do any mistakes. But for people who have logged in just for this session, please make a note of it very clearly so that you don't do any mistakes. Now, let's choose one day of the week. What is that day? Any day which is suitable for you. And what should such a day be? That day should be low on physical and mental activity. Why? I want to provide this energy and time for cleaning and repair. If I do some other physical activity or mental activity constantly on a day of fasting, what is the purpose? The whole purpose is lost. So you should ensure that particular day of fasting should be very low on physical, mental, emotional activity. What does that mean? Am I meaning you to lie down and sleep? I don't mean to say that. It should be as less as possible. You can take over. Okay. I don't mean you should sleep, but do as less as possible so that your energies and times are diverted towards cleaning and repair. And how do we do this? Morning, whatever you're going to drink, drop that. I'm just taking it in small steps so that it doesn't become overwhelming or it doesn't become difficult. This is just half a day fast at a first step. So, no morning beverage, no breakfast. Keep sipping water. I repeat, sip water. Take any temperature water in the sense of it shouldn't be too cold, too hot. It should be, if it is cold season, warm water. If it is hot season, plain water. Sip water whenever you want, how much ever you want, till afternoon. Remember, I'm not putting a time limit there. I said afternoon. What is afternoon? For each of us, 165 of us, it can be 165 different time. Whenever you feel I'm done, I cannot take it anymore, you're done. That's all. Don't, the one of the basic principles of nature cure is you're not going to you know, suffer. You should not do anything with violence to your own body. So it is very important to take care that your body does not feel that suffering. So do it till when you are comfortable. Say till 12 o'clock you can do fine. 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2, 2:30, whatever time you are comfortable on water, just continue to do that. Be on water. And this will improve every time you do. Every week when you fast, first time you must have broken at 12 o'clock, but next time you will be able to do it a little more, a little more. That is how you have to take it ahead. Every week when you do, it will get better and you will be able to do it in a longer term, right? So be on water, nothing else till afternoon. Afternoon, eat a huge bowl of fruits, no food, fruits. Select soft, sweet fruits and eat in huge quantities, not one banana. That's not enough. You will be hungry in another few minutes and the whole purpose of fasting is lost because you will sit and eat a meal there. Okay. So instead of a cooked meal, I want you to eat fruits for lunch. Evening, have a tender coconut water. If you have come from a place, I know I mean, people from different parts of the world must have logged in. So if you come from a place where you don't get tender coconut water, such people can get fresh fruit juice and mix it with 50% water. Hope you got this. Fresh fruit juice, just extracted. Don't remove anything from there. Add 50% water and drink this instead of tender coconut water. And at night, have a simple cooked meal, without too much of oil, without too much of masalas. And of course, in the course, you will learn what is a healthy, balanced meal, and you can adopt it after you learn that. But till then, take one day of the week, any day which suits you, with less physical, mental activity, and don't get emotionally range that day. Ensure, tell everybody, I am fasting. Don't simply disturb me or make me angry for unnecessary reasons. You know, you might be flare up for nothing at all for that matter. So just ensure you have a peaceful atmosphere that day, and you will be on water till afternoon. Fruits for lunch, evening tender coconut water, night simple cooked meal. This is the first step. This is not even called fasting. My master calls it approach to fasting. We need to do small steps when we have to do the fasting. So do this many weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or any number of weeks till you feel comfortable. There will be a day when you will have forgotten that you have not even eaten the breakfast. That day, you move on towards doing a whole day fasting. What is whole day fasting? Okay, that was an example for a cooked meal probably. So what is a whole day fasting? You're going to be on water till evening. No beverage, no breakfast, no lunch also. Just sip water whenever you want, how much ever you want. And evening, have a tender coconut water. Now you have to break your fast with a liquid because it's a longish fast. From morning till evening, you have fasted. So break it with a healthy liquid. You can't find anything better than tender coconut water. People who don't get, of course, 50% diluted fresh fruit juice. And night for dinner, you have fruits, as I said, fresh, then sweet and soft fruits for dinner. Now your gut has rested through the day and evening also. Night for dinner, it has had completely packed with nutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, and fiber. You have given a healthy meal to your body in the night, in the evening for dinner, and it will thank you enough. So start doing this. Start with half day. When you become comfortable, start doing it full day. And so this is how you will adopt fasting. All those people who have enrolled into my course, I will talk a little more before you start adopting, but I hope everybody has understood. Now let me open the space for question answers for next 10-15 minutes till the team of Wellcure wants to take over. Over to you, to Ishita.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Gauri. So I've opened the chat section. If there are any questions regarding what has been covered today, I will convey your questions to Dr. Gauri. Is this a certification course? Yeah, so you do get a certificate at the end of this course. So there's a question on how we can register for the course. So Dr. Gauri, can I request you to put down your screen? I'll just,
Sure, sure.
put
I
in
think
the...
we will wait to answer all these questions with Wellcure team.
Yeah.
But right now, if you have questions regarding today's session, whatever you learned today, especially with fasting, ask all those questions. Let me answer next 10 minutes. And then we will answer all those questions pertaining to the course, and the Wellcure team will handle all of those.
So I think, Dr. Gauri, there are a few questions regarding specific diseases, like thyroid, diabetes, and you've already covered, you've given examples of clients who have, reversed this. But in spite of that, we see a lot of specific questions which are coming that can I,
Yeah.
can I join this course? Will I see a difference?
Yeah. So maybe the questions which I have not answered, if you want to pull out a couple of questions and ask.
What about those people who grain and cannot fast so severely as a full day fast?
Okay. So there are two kinds of people who might not be able to fast. One with gastritis and acidity, and the other ones with diabetes, they might be scared. People with diabetes, please do it under uh, some care, somebody to monitor. It could be a doctor in your family, or your own doctor, or a naturopath, or a Ayurvedic physician around. Please do it under somebody's monitoring. Don't do it on your own if you're doing it for the first time, because somebody has to look at your blood sugars and say, should you take the medication or taper the medication, whatever. So please do it under some guidance. Don't do it on your own. You should do if you want to reverse your diabetes, but please do it under guidance for the first few weeks until you understand. And coming to the people who have acidity or gastritis, you will not be able to do it because you will be in a lot of pain. So please do not do complete water fasting. So probably you can switch to fruits for breakfast, fruits for lunch, fruits for dinner, or fruits and tender coconut, or something like this to start with. And once you heal your gut and get out of gastritis and acidity, then adopt fasting. Till then, don't get into this fasting on water. Hope I clarified. I don't know if I've answered that question. Actually, there was a break in the question also. I hope I have answered that question.
Yeah.
Next question, Ishita.
The next question is it okay to exercise on the day of fasting?
Listen to your body. I would say no, or very light, probably yoga or stretching or a stroll, a small walk or something like that would be a better idea, because we want to conserve that energy, divert that energy towards healing and cleaning. So don't do too much of intense activity that particular day. It is not advisable. Yes.
Uh, if someone has iron deficiency, can they fast?
Of course, yes. Your body will beautifully rearrange itself to absorb the iron from your food after you finish fasting. Of course, it has to be accompanied with the right kind of eating after that. It is not about just fasting. Fasting is a small aspect which I'm dealing with. I've dealt with one small little principle in the whole of my course. You have to understand a lot more things, but yes, definitely it'll help you to absorb iron better from your foods after you eat the right way.
So there are also a couple of questions regarding which fruits to pick, any specific type of fruits.
No, I told you I don't want to get into specifics. The whole point of my course is to make it holistic. I want to pull you out from the specifics to generalization. That is why I made that statement: soft, sweet fruits. Any fruit you like. It has to be fleshy and soft, and it has to be sweet. That's
Is it okay to add lemon to water on the day of fasting?
absolutely no. It is food. You've broken your fast. Fasting is only when still you're drinking water. The minute you add anything other than water, your fasting is over.
Okay.
We can just take a couple of
So
questions if
this,
there are
yeah,
any.
most of them are repeat questions. So I'm just going to skip them.
Take your time. Don't worry at all.
Yeah. So is fasting suitable for patients who are recovering from COVID? If yes, how long since recovery should fasting be done?
Okay. I don't want to make a blanket statement here because I have no clue of your status of health. So, but as I already said, fasting is the first line of treatment in natural hygiene when it comes to COVID. Okay. So we put people on fast. The very first thing we do is fast. 2 days of fasting and then followed with liquid and then fruit, and then slowly we take ahead depending on what state they are and what they are able to do and everything. It needs some guidance and hand holding. But yes, to answer your question, yes, fasting is the first line of treatment we adopt.
Uh, so a couple of questions regarding when they are fasting. Some of them experience headache.
Yes, very important question. Thanks for bringing up. If you have headaches, please don't do fasting right away. As I said, use tender coconut water or fruits and make less work for your gut. That's good enough, because every time, see, triggering of a small headache is a natural way of body responding to hunger. What happens as soon as the blood sugar levels go down? You are reminded that, hello, eat something, your blood sugars are going down. How does it tell you? By triggering of a small headache. You neglect it or you not bother about it, then body knows, okay, this lady is not going to eat anything, so let me make adjustments. It breaks down the glycogen stores and restarts the blood sugar levels. So it will take over and it knows how to adjust. But if you're talking about severe headaches and migraines, actually the fasting itself can trigger off migraines and headaches. So such people do not attempt to do fasting. First, heal yourself, repair yourself, get rid of your migraines and headaches, and then start fasting. Right now, what you can do best is eat lighter, more nutritious foods like fruits and tender coconut water. Just be on fruits and tender coconut water once a week. You will heal your headaches very soon, and then probably you can start fasting. Do you think you want to stop with this question and take over, Ishita?
Yeah, sure, Dr. Gauri, I can do that.
Thank you so much.
Because, yeah.
All those people who have logged in for today's session, I would like to, say a word of gratitude to all of you. Please get healthy and stay safe. Over to you, Ishita.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gauri. So I would request you to, take down the slides. So I'll start sharing
Yes.
the screen now. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I can see some nice comments. They found it really knowledgeable and wonderful. Everyone's been thanking you, Dr. Gauri.
Thank you.
There were a couple of questions which we missed earlier regarding the course structure and how it's going to be conducted. So it's going to be, today was the first session, right? And it's going to be spread over the next 3 weeks. The last session is on the 31st. There are going to be 3 sessions per week, and they're all going to be of 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. It's going to be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, so it's going to be conducted live, just like this session today. And if there are any more questions related to the workshop, the course, and any of it, then do please let us know and we'll help you out.
I want to interrupt Ishita 1 second, because I just saw a question saying the price is very high. I just want to answer that question before you take over. Yes, I have fixed it even more higher, but Sumit has brought us it down so that common man can, get into it. But I want only serious people to get into it. That is why it is a little higher. And at the end of the course, you'll understand what you got was much, much more than what you have paid. Honestly speaking, all these should never be considered as expenditure. These are investments into our life and health. So I would invite you to think in these terms. Any amount of spending here is always an investment for lifetime. You don't need drugs, dietitians, and doctors. How much are you going to save? All that, put it into one small course, and you will enjoy health and life throughout your life, right? Okay, Ishita, to you.
Thank you, Dr. Gauri. I also saw one question which says that will the recordings be provided? So really sorry, but we're not going to provide recordings. You will be encouraged to attend all of the sessions live. Recordings of any of the session will not be available. So Shiva, your question is the registration done or can we join? You can surely join. Definitely. There's still time. Shilpa, your question is a little unclear to me. Can I have know where if you could retype that, that would be good. So those who have registered the next session, yeah, so the next steps are that you're going to be added to the WhatsApp group, right? And the next session is going to be on Friday, same time, 6 to 8 p.m. There's going to be a fresh link which is going to be shared with you. Everything will be, shared on the group that you're a part of. So please don't worry about that. Jasleen says, I'm busy with prior commitments to the mentioned dates. Do you have any other dates for this course? Currently, we don't have the future dates fixed as of now. Jasleen? kind of, so there's a question, what kind of certificate will we get? I mean, can we later take up health as a teaching? This is going to be a course completion certificate, which you will be getting. And I mean, the main aim is to, educate yourself about right living, right eating. That's the main aim of this course. The timings are from 6 to 8 p.m. A couple of questions regarding any manual. So once you do register for the course, you'll be added to WhatsApp group, and after every session, Dr. Gauri will be sharing the most relevant information, like a concise and crisp summary of whatever was covered in the WhatsApp group for your reference. So that will be shared in the group. Shilpa says, can I have a number where I can talk to Dr. Gauri? She wants to, I guess, have a personal consultation, Dr. Gauri.
Yeah, you can share my WhatsApp number where she can send a message and I shall answer. Or she can contact one of you, whatever works for her.
Okay, so Shilpa, maybe you can put in your email ID and we'll get back to you. Or you can drop us an email on info@wellcure.com and we'll surely revert. A couple of questions regarding, can I have recording for today's session? So, once you register for the course, and if you've missed today's session, then we'll be able to provide you. But please note that it's only valid for today's session. As we go ahead, the other sessions are not really recorded. You will be required to attend them live. E-learning has the same content as live. The content for the e-learning course remains the same. So, Dr. Gauri, there are still a few questions which say that, will this certification entitle me to practice and guide people in nutrition?
Well, legally, no, because unless you do RD, you are not allowed to do consultations as such. But whatever your profession is, you can add this as an added value for whatever you're doing and guide people, share with people. Nobody is going to stop you from sharing what you know, your knowledge you can share. And say you can even say that you have a certification, but legally you cannot call yourself kind of a coach or a nutritionist or a dietitian. Absolutely no. You need to do the degrees and have an RD examination cleared for that.
So again, a couple of questions regarding particular issues like PCOD, sinus, vaginal infection.
Yes, all hormonal issues can be corrected with just eating right and living right. You have to do everything right.
So, Shilpa, if you've already registered, then we will definitely be in touch, right? And you have the whole course in front of you. If you've registered for the course, Dr. Gauri will be there for all the remaining courses. She'll be there in the WhatsApp group as well. You can, if you have any particular things that you need to consult her for, you can reach out to her. So if you're in the group, then it'll be easier.
Don't worry at all. As we go ahead, we can discuss. That's the beauty of the live course. You can ask all your questions and it'll get answered. Just don't worry at all. Yes, Ishita?
Dr. Gauri, I don't see any new questions for now.
Wonderful. We can end with this.
Sure. I'll be keeping the slide on in case somebody wants to make a decision. We'll just let a couple of minutes go.
Yes. Can I take leave?
Yeah, surely. Thank you so much, Dr. Gauri.
Thank you.